As you can see on my screen that I have already opened up PyCharm. Now over here, the first thing which we need to know about making our own function is about what the function is and how it actually works. So basically, a function is a block of reusable code that performs a specific task. Functions basically help in organizing code, making it more readable, reusable, and modular in Python. In Python, a function is defined using the def function and the keyword, okay, followed by the function name and parentheses inside that variable. So first thing, what we have to do over here is write in our def command. So first off, I'm going to put in a couple of space because if I want more variables or more data at the top, I can put it with ease. So I'm going to put in def. So I'm going to do is going to be turning off my caps lock and I'm going to put in def. So that is basically it, def. So that is how you'll be able to like start your function. Now, after def, I can put in greet. Like I can say like greet them with a welcome or maybe whatever it is. So in this case, I'm going to put in say hi. So I want this function to say hi to that specific person or to that specific user. Now, one thing or one difference you can see over here that as we have like only two words, I did not put any space in between them. But this is kind of like a good practice which you have to follow up in Python because when you see that there is like you have to put in a bit of space, right, to make it individual. But what we do in Python is put in an underscore to make them together. So this is kind of like a good practice which you should follow up, but you can also keep it blank when there's like a small word with it. You can keep it just like this, and then you can come up or follow up with a parentheses. And then after that, you're going to put in a colon. Now, after the colon, your function will basically start off in this specific project. Okay. Now, one thing you will see over here that after I hit on enter, it's going to start off from this indentation over here. Now, I'm going to go off to my settings. I'm going to go off to settings over here. I'm going to go off the appearance and behavior. Now you can like increase the way your font looks like. That's basically up to you if you want to. You can see go off to appearance and there we go. We have all of these options already applied, which I already, customized it from the beginning. But if you want to increase it up, you can also do that. Let's say I'm going to put in 110 and hit on apply. And you can like zoom in just a bit more and see how it works. So when you basically see this indentation has been created already, you can put in your own command and hit on enter. Now, one thing you will see over here is that each and every one of these lines are going to start off from that specific indentation. Now, any command or any code that you put inside of that indentation or that expected indentation, it's going to be inside of that function. Okay, so starting from over here. But if you start off anything from the beginning of the indentation, it's not going to be turned inside of that function. So basically, that specific indentation has been already removed, or that specific indentation will already, just stop and, start off another one. So you can start off another function from right over here. But just like I said, keep that thing in mind. And now I'm going to show you an example of how you'll be able to see the difference and how are you going to write some commands using these options. So if I put in a couple of names over here like this, it is going to be still inside of that specific, function. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is going to show you an example of how you'll be able to use any specific command to run this function altogether. So I'm going to cut all of these off, and inside I have to put in one of the most basic command or basic code, which is print. So if I put in print, okay, now inside of print, I want it to say welcome, okay, welcome user. So that's basically it. But if I print it out, it will not show me anything because we only have it inside of a function, something like a variable. But if we need to print it out, we have to use another command to like call it again. Now to call it again, we're going to be using another print function inside of our project. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to do is going to be putting in a couple of spaces and do not write it inside of that indent. Because if you do print it or do like put it inside of that indent, like if I put in print and I'm going to do is going to be just say hi. Okay, so I'm gonna put in, let's say, print the top value, and here, if I just say hi, open up the parentheses, and if I put in print, there we go. Inside of the print, I'm gonna say bottom. It's not still going to give me any value. There we go. Now if I play it up, you'll see there's still nothing. But if we just take the whole thing over here, Control X, and put it outside of the indent, I'm going to cut this off. There we go. Now it is outside of that specific function. So I'm going to cut this off and paste it at the next line. Play it. And now you can see we have top, which is this one. And then we have this welcome user, which is say hi, which is basically this one, this variable. And the bottom is just written bottom. So now you can see that when you have it inside of the function, it's not going to work. But if you put it outside of that indentation level, then obviously it's going to just print it out or going to give you out the result. Now, one thing, just like I said about, official or formal practice, is that try putting in an underscore whenever you're putting, let's say, anything, okay, such as a variable. So now it looks a lot more better, okay? So there we go. We have say hi, and basically this is still the same. So you can see both of them are the same. And now I'm going to cut out certain data inside over here. So inside of print top and bottom, inside of say hi, I'm going to do is going to put in additional information. So if I put in name over here, and then I'm going to use it as a variable. So here I'm going to put in the value too. So if I put in, let's say, Mike, or let's say Michael, there we go. So I have put in Michael, and I want it to say hi, okay? And also over here on welcome user, I want that specific value or data to be applied to. So I'm going to put in a plus, and here I'm going to put in the variable, which is name. So you can see say name, and this is the one over here, and the name which we are using, or the variable which we're using, is Michael. So I'm also going to apply another one. Let's say, or let's just say I'm going to print this out. So I'm going to play this, and now you can see that we have welcome user Michael. So if I just remove this value over here, and if I print it out, you'll basically see it is going to be written hello Michael. Now, if I want to say or apply another value, I'm going to put in say hi, and inside I'm going to put in say ref. If I play it, you'll basically see it's going to say the same thing. So now you can see why a function is used like most of the time. It's because you can use it multiple times over and over again, and you'll also be able to customize it anytime you want. So if I just put in another word, let's say I'm going to put in say hi. Now, if I put in double quotation, and if I put in just name and hit on play, it will also say welcome name. Now, you might think that what is it going to be if I put in a specific number? So if I put in say hi, and if I put in a specific number, let's say maybe an 8, and if I play it out, you'll basically see, I'm going to play it, and now you will basically see this has turned into an error, okay? So you can use it as a string. If I put in double quotation, sometimes when you're using Python 2.6 or 2.11, it will give you an error, but on Python 3.12, it's going to give you out that specific value even when you want to work with a specific number, okay? So you can also apply more numbers inside of your value. So how are you going to do that? So let's say I'm going to cut this last line off, and I'm going to put numbers and concatenate it with the values. So if I want to put in numbers, I'm going to have to put in numbers after this. So if I put in a comma after that, and if I put in double quotation, and if I put in 32 and play it out, you'll basically see this one is still not working. Now, why? Because there is no specific place or the value to put it inside of, this specific word or the print, what we want to print, okay? So what we basically have to do is put in another value inside here. So what I'm going to do over here is that I'm going to put in another plus, and I'm going to add more. So I'm going to put in double quotation again, and inside of that double quotation, I'm going to put in a couple more value. So I'm going to put in double quotation and put in a comma and space it out. Now I'm going to put in your, I'm going to put in, let's say, so basically here, I'm going to put in your, I'm going to put in like, one colon over here. There we go. Your, now I'm going to put in a bit of space because obviously I don't want them together again. So I'm going to put in a plus and I'm going to put in age. So if I put in age over here, obviously we don't have that specific age yet inside of our function. So I have to put in a bit of space and put in another variable, which is going to be applied. So if I put in space, comma, and space, and then age, now if I play it out, you can see now this is already terming this as a function that it's going to require a name and then the age, okay? So if I just play it out now, and you'll basically see it is still not working because say hi and say one required positional argument age is missing on them. So now we basically have to do is do this on the same or do the same thing on all of them. If I put in double quotation and 54, that is the age, put in a comma, and I'm going to put in double quotation if I put in 14. And now if I put in play, you'll basically see it will give me out the answer. You can see welcome Michael, you're 32. Welcome Raf, you're 54. And welcome name, you're 14. Okay? So you can see how simple it is when you are working with these type of values. Now, you might think that, okay, we have only 2. So what if we can apply more? Obviously, you can. Now, if you want to apply another variable, you just have to take this one over here, put in a comma. Now, if I put in gender, okay? So I'm going to put in gender. And I'm going to put in a bit of space again. Space plus double quotation. I'm going to put in, let's say, comma. Your sex is, now I'm going to do is going to be adding in a plus again. And here I'm going to put in gender. There we go. Now it's going to require another variable. So if I play it, it will give me an error because all of the requirements or the required criteria value is missing. So if I put in this value over here, so I'm going to put in another comma and I'm going to put in space double quotation. I'm going to put in male. There we go, male. And this is the gender. So if I just put in comma over here and I'm going to put in double quotation and the gender is male. And the last one, I'm going to put in comma. I'm going to put in double quotation and I'm going to put in male. If you want to put in female, that's also fine. So you can put in female and play out the whole thing. And now you can see, welcome Michael, you're 32, your sex is male. So you can see that how much or however you want to customize your own function, you'll be able to do it. So if you want to like apply another line in this function, I'm going to take this one over here and inside you want to print another value. So if I want to print another value, I'm going to say, let's say I want another specific value. So I'm going to put in like welcome only age. So I'm going to do is going to be welcoming my age. So if I put in welcome, now here, I'm going to put in only plus. I'm going to put in name. And if I play at the whole thing, you'll basically see it might give me an error sometimes. But it is already going to take out the value of the first one on each and every line. So Python is or has the ability to read the lines too or read the data too. You can see, hello, Michael, you're 32, your sex is male. Welcome, Michael. Now, if I want to like change the name over here, if I just remove all of these and still remove that specific value, I'm going to put in double quotation over here. Your age is this. And if I play it, you'll basically see this is how it will look like. You're 32, your sex is male, welcome Michael. You're 54, your sex is male, welcome Raph. And then on the next one, we have you're 14, your sex is female, welcome name. So you can see how simple it is to work with Python and these functions, okay? So thank you for watching this video up till the very end and hope you understood about everything in this class. If you still have any confusion about any part of this lesson, feel free to ask me anytime. I'm always there to help you out. So without any further ado, let's move on to our next class of Python.